Right guys, welcome back to the 12th Man, the regular Thursday night roadshow at 7:30pm. If you're unfamiliar with the format, on the show we look at all the latest Ipswich Town news in the look ahead to the weekend's fixture. This week it's obviously Tranmere away at Prenton Park. We'll get on to that a bit later. Tonight we're here at the Fox Inn in Newbourne, one of the Deben Inns, who have been a real help to us, provided us with quality venues to host our show this season, so thank you so much for your support. Make sure you check out all their offers online. Just search www.debenins.co.uk. Tonight we're here with Jack Grady and Will Skippins. Jack's just freshly back from Australia. Still got his hat on for some reason, I don't know why. But Will, it's nice to have you back on the channel, mate. You alright?
Yeah, all good.
Good. Right, so like we said, we're looking forward to this weekend's fixture against Tranmere Rovers. But firstly, let's go through the headlines. So this week, Town ended last week actually with an emphatic 4-win win. Oh, blunder. 4-1 victory against Accrington Stanley. Now, there's a few points I want to pick up from those boys. Always 3 points from a game. The first one, Judge scored his first league goal. Now, Will, I know you love to speak about Alan Judge, and he took his goal well, but to be honest, it was a whole team performance, but Judge was the one that really stood out for me in that game. Would you agree?
Yeah, I'd say that's 100% Alan Judge's best performance in a Town shirt. In that number 10, he was really able to dictate the play, and he hasn't really got the pace to play on the wing. Yeah. But he's got the ability to pick out a pass and get round the player if they're standing up to tackle him. He can dribble it past them. Yeah. So that number 10 suits his play style perfectly, and I think he showed that in the game against Accrington. Like you say, it was a really complete team performance. We could speak about loads of players that had a really good game. I thought the defence was solid. I thought Emir Hu's probably had his best game of the season. Yeah. And to get all three strikers firing again is something we've struggled to do recently. Get them scoring goals was good to see. So yeah, there's loads of positive to take from that one. Yeah,
definitely. Jack, another point I picked up on was overlapping centre backs. Something we've not done this season. Something we've lacked because we just seem to sit back all the time. Could that be a reason for our poor run of form in the league, do you think?
It could be. It was brilliant to see on Saturday. Just Chambers and Wolford both getting assists, which led to key goals. But the thing with our recent run of form, we have been too defensive, and I think that is a reason why Hughes has come in. Yeah. But Chambers and Wolf, they were absolutely superb Saturday, and that's that, and hopefully we can take that forward.
Yeah, and we'll move on to the Oxford game in a minute, but obviously keeping that shape is the number one priority at the moment, because the fans have been up in arms about team selection recently. Obviously mixed in with all the cup action, we've played a lot of games over the Christmas period. We've now come to the other side of January, and games are very important at this point. We need to start pushing on from there and try and get as many good results as we can. Now, a big point that I picked up from Accrington especially is that Scouse has now been forced out of the midfield for the first time in his tenure as an Ipswich Town player. Would you agree with that statement firstly, and secondly, do you think he can get back in?
I would agree. Say forced out. I think after the Accrington game it would be very, very difficult to drop what would be more likely Hughes after how good he was. So I think you could say forced out. You could just say Hughes has been given a chance and he took it by the scruff of the neck and deserved to play the game against Oxford following. Yeah. Sorry, what else did you say, Scouse?
I said, do you think he can get back into the squad?
Do I think back into the squad? I don't know. Obviously, him and Chambers, the next logical ones you start phasing out. Really, they're the two oldest squad members, I believe. Yeah. And that midfield role that he plays does ask a lot of legs on a player. Yeah. And what is he, 33 now? Yeah. So you've got to think at some point that age might start catching up with him. We have got to start looking forward to players kind of in their early, mid, even late 20s that are at least 3-4 years younger, that can just offer a little bit more longevity. But he'll definitely come on. If we're winning games by one, he'll come on, just sure up that midfield. He's so composed on the ball, and he's still got an eye for a pass. Yeah. So we'll definitely still get men. It's just whether he seems starting as many as he has up until this point, maybe not. Yeah,
I would agree with that. Jack, I know you've missed a number of games purely because you've been in Australia. But obviously it's your debut on the show today, so congratulations, mate. It's nice to have you on. But Scoots for me has been an absolutely terrific servant to this club, and in no way, shape or form do I think this is the end of his career. No way. I think he could go on for a number of years. Specifically with the number of options that Ipswich Town have got in midfield at the moment, the legs is the most important thing, getting up and down, and it's something that I think he's struggled with. If I'm being honest with myself, and I'm being critical of his performance, I'd say he's probably struggled to get back or get to the ball as quick as some of the other players. Would you agree?
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, he is getting on. I mean, you can tell that he's not running around the pitch as much as he used to, but he's still playing really well.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good sub to come on. Like, I mean, because Emir Hughes, I mean, he's had a lot of injuries over the past few years, so I mean, bringing him off, like bringing Skews in just for that extra defensive move, because I mean, I'll be honest, but Skews is very, very defensive.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the assist Emir Hughes made to Norwood on Saturday. If that was Skews, I'd put money on he would have passed it back to Norris.
And the thing is with Emir Hughes, and we'll get on to Hughes a little bit later, but him in a sense is a mixture of Cole Scouse and Dizelle, wouldn't you agree? Would you say that?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. To be honest, I think he's the best of two players. I think he can get up and down. He's been battling. I tell you, the last two games he looked really, really good. But we will get on to Hughes in a minute, and I think that's the reason that certain players can't get into the side. I mean, even John Nolan didn't come on. Are we looking to attack and we're looking to shore up that midfield? But we'll get into that. Anyway, next one, Sheffield United have been linked with a $3 million bid for Wolfenden. Lambert came out and stated that the Blades would have to add another 3 in front of that figure to secure his services. Now, boys, my question to you is, would you accept $33 million for Luke Wolfenden?
33 million in League One. I don't think it's possible to turn 33 million in our league.
He's worth more then, is that what you're saying?
I think to this club he's priceless because he's a centre-back we haven't got. He's kind of what Luke Chambers was and still wants to be, but he's got more legs than Chambers. He's better on the... No disrespect to Chambers, like you say, like about Skews.
Don't call out Chambers because he'll have you, mate.
No,
honestly, he's already had me this season.
Brilliant servant to the club. A great captain to have, really good role model, and always puts 110% into every game he plays. And you can tell, like, when things don't go the way of the club, he's absolutely heartbroken.
Yeah.
But I think Wolfenden to the team and to this club is priceless, just because he's just the perfect kind of move, like the perfect move forward. Really good on the ball, as we saw. He's really good at he's comfortable overlapping, really good at getting forward and can put a ball in the box or take players on. So yeah,
I completely agree. I think it's probably the first time we've seen a defender come into the Ipswich Town side comfortably for a long time. I can't even remember one off the top of my head in the last 10-15 years that has actually come through and cemented their place, and they don't get a chance. Obviously we dropped down to League One, but I say a lot of players nowadays are made in the lower leagues, and they, when they get their chance, they prove themselves to be top quality players. The problem with this Wolfenden link is he's got so much more to prove, in my opinion, at a higher level. Now, if Sheffield United would come in and buy him, I think it's slightly ironic that as soon as it came in at the exact time he'd done an overlap and run and set up a goal, that Sheffield United were linked with it. Now, Sheffield United are notoriously known for their attacking centre-backs, in which they could be at any part of the pitch at any time of the game. Wolfenden's far from that, in my opinion, at the moment. Would you agree?
Yeah, I do. I mean, he's only played in League One, hasn't he? Because he was on loan at Swindon last year, wasn't he? Or League Two, sorry. But yeah, he's still got a lot to prove, in my opinion. I mean, he's come in and he's done great, but he does say he needs that little bit more experience before we think about selling him.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, we get all these kids in, they play well, and then we sell them, which ain't good for their moves. I mean, you look at Connor Wickham, like we had him, he's gone to Palace and he's had 10 years of injuries.
Yeah.
if it's he has but if he stayed at Ipswich a little bit longer, he could have been he could have been
I think the thing
could have been brought in.
You bring up Connor Wickham and the progression of youngsters. You're right in a sense, but Connor Wickham was a bit of an outlier in the sense that at 16 he was bigger than any man that you've seen walking down the street. He was well above his years with regards to his progression. He was ready to move on, and we have to, as a club, we need to cash in on players. It's simple as that. We've got no other income. It's as simple as that. We're trying to stay afloat at the moment, I would suggest. And if a realistic bid comes in for any player, we will accept it. It's just got to be realistic with our target, and we've got to be probably targeting 5 million per player. Would you say?
Yeah. Well, the one thing I think, regardless of how Lambert puts it, saying another 303 for the 33, I think it's just good to hear that obviously we've sold players that have gone on into Championship, Premier League, really quality players. But it's nice to hear that regardless of what Evans says or does, obviously we don't know the link and how ins and outs really go between them two. But it's nice to hear the manager is going to put his foot down a bit and say, no, you're not going unless we get the right money for me to be able to do something with it, for the club to, in the long run, be able to use that money in some way or another, and also Evans gets what he wants out of it, which obviously he's going to want some return from the player as well.
Yeah. Definitely.
So it's just nice to hear that we've got a manager who's willing to fight for the club a bit.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. I loved him coming out with that comment last night, bit of banter online. Next story is Portman Road to be given a makeover. Marcus Evans has reiterated that the club will be given the club a makeover. Unbelievable. He says the roof will be done in March. My question is, boys, what's the difference between a makeover and maintenance? Because Portman Road needs constant maintenance, doesn't it? Surely.
Yeah, it's very old, isn't it? Well, let's be honest. You got half the stands are falling apart at the moment. It needs to be sorted. But the only annoying thing is that he's willing to make the stadium look better, but he can't put any money into players, which I find really annoying. But if he wants to make it look nice, and fair play to him.
Obviously, the comparison between the money he puts into the stadium and the money that he spends on players.
Yeah.
We're not looking to buy any SIL division players, are we, in the next few weeks? Because it's a tough one. Look, I think its stability is more the question at the moment. What we can make out of what we've got. The academy is throwing out players left, right, and centre. It's how we use them at the moment. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we've had loads of players come through our academy, and quite a few of them, like you say, the main two being Wolfton and Downs. Obviously, you got Dazelle in and out of the squad. Players like them coming through the academy. Brett McGavin is the most recent one that really springs to my mind. Whenever he's played really well. Yeah. But like you say, stability, especially obviously losing so much money last season in the midst of relegation. Obviously, we want players to come, and we all want to go straight back up. But you'd think largely we have to do it with what we've got. Yeah. You can't see us suddenly Evans giving Lambert 5 mil, which is quite a lot, in the 5-10 mil in this league, which is a lot to go and sign someone from a Championship club or something like that.
We need to look at our, take Accrington for example. The money they spend on players is next to nothing, and look what they make out of them players. They're making virtually 100% profit on what they bought them for.
And look what they've done to us at their place.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Moving on from that then, because we'll never get an answer out of that one. Town signed defender Josh L from Preston North End, left-sided centre-back, left-hand-sided player. Tall, very tall, 6'4". You prefer someone of that height to be at centre-back. But obviously we all remember Tyrone Mings and how good he was at left-back for us. Not much to report on his career. He's made 33 appearances for Preston North End. He spent time on loan at Bolton this season. They had some very good words to say about him, but until you watch him with your own eyes, you can't really say anything, can you? So, that's just another one to report. Obviously, we'll be looking out for him. He didn't play last night at the Kassam Stadium, but we'll get on to that now. So the Tractor Boys picked up a solid point at the Kassam last night, battling through the wind and rain plus stoppages to make sure we saw the game through. No thanks to the referee or Oxford United for that one. Say that again.
I heard on Twitter that was a new record of added on time, 18 minutes.
I don't know why they just didn't start the clock again. They were, and the announcer went, and there will be 18 minutes of added on time. And we were like, what? And then Andy said, I'm sure we had 25 minutes left. Silly, but neither of you went last night. I'm sure you would have been thankful. Because the weather was absolutely horrendous. I've never seen anything like it. And if you haven't seen what it's like and you want to, make sure you check out the matchday vlog from yesterday. Obviously, we filmed this tonight, Wednesday. Yesterday was Tuesday, so have a look at the vlog. Very interesting stuff. We had Ben Bloom on there, Luke Pennon, and we had the D3 and D4 podcast on there as well. As we looked at that game, it was a big game, and I'm glad that we walked away with a point. Not that it was a point that we deserved. We should have gone and won that, personally.
We should be win. You go there and say we should be winning every game. Yeah, we should have won it. From what I heard, it sounded like, especially in the first half, and then even against the wind in the second half, sounds like we had patches where we were the better team. Like against it sounds like we were better against the wind than they were against the wind. Yeah. But the first half sounded like we were really on top, really getting in around their box. Alan Judge again sounded like he had a really commanding role in that number 10 position, really dictating the play, getting shots off, tried to make things happen, which is always
looked confident.
Yeah, and it's kind of what we expected when he first came in last season, and it hasn't really happened for him. No. But you got to hope now he scored that goal, that just gives him that little bit in between his teeth to really go and push on and show that he can be that player that we all expected, and the player that Brentford were nearly going to sell to the Premier League.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen it, but there was a blatant penalty disallowed in that game. Did you see it, Jack? Firstly, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I watched it on iFollow last night. He basically gave him a hug and brought him down to the floor. It was a blatant penalty. I don't know how the referee hasn't seen that. I said to my mate today, like, that referee's missed his appointment at Specsavers. He literally has with that. I don't know how it weren't a penalty.
To be honest, I'll put this out there clear as mud, right? And there was a lot of that last night. But the referee did not want that game to continue last night. He tried his best to get it called off. And to be fair to him, I understand why. For 80 quid, I wouldn't stand out in that piss and rain. And they don't get paid enough in this division. There is an argument that referees at this level are paid a pittance to perform at the highest level. We've not seen that performance from a referee this season, I think. And it was a good point brought up last night. I think it was Wes Flirty that said we've lost maybe 10, 12 points this season on bad refereeing decisions. You look at the Wickham game where we've stolen a goal from us, penalties that we haven't had. I mean, we're not a team that plays the referee's decision, not at all, not in my eyes. But Oxford were a team that played to the ref last night. Their back four was on the floor every 5 minutes. I've never seen anything like it. It's just poor gamesmanship, and if that's what League One is about, then we should see the back of this quite easily, I would say. Go for it.
I think the big thing, obviously we've all gone about refs, Wickham being the big standout to have that goal disallowed and the penalty and whatever. But I think because of how we, unlike a lot of teams, shouldn't have the ability to really knock the ball about compared to our teams, they really get in other teams' faces, and because we can play on the front foot, play an aggressive style in this league, I think that makes it easier for refs to give decisions against us, because we can shoulder barge people. We are generally stronger, we're a bigger team, we're better on the ball, and that means we're going to get more chances, but that generally means more chances you've had a bit more shoulder barging, pushing, shoving, line of niggly things that could be given as fouls, could not, and because we have the ability to do it so much, that means refs kind of think they're doing it so much there must be a foul in there somewhere, so they give one or the other, and we just keep getting unlucky that it's that one that there's a penalty against us, there's that goal disallowed, there's a free kick in a good position that we haven't got, even though he's got it straight through the back of us, and you're right, because in all honesty how we generally dominate every game we play, whether we win it or not.
Yeah, you're right there, and like we say, Oxford's supposed to be one of the best teams in the league besides Rotherham. We kind of looked comfortable last night, didn't we? Didn't look like we were going to concede.
No, we didn't. We were very. We were just unfortunate that we couldn't get that goal. We had plenty of opportunities, but either Oxford were in the right place at the right time, or the wind.
Or the wind carried it away.
Yeah, literally.
I heard that about 1,500 times.
But literally, we completely outplayed them in the first half, but we had the win behind us. So the second half, they outplayed us. Yeah. So it was a tale of two halves, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. There's one player that did stand out for me, and that was Emir Hughes, as he did at Wickham, as he did at Accrington. Actually, that's 3 starts in a row he's had, and in each of those performances, he's played outstandingly well, winning the ball, setting up goals. Not saying every pass is setting up a goal, but at the same time, look at this, 3 brownies. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cool. Get in there, boys. Go on. You've got to eat one now because it's on the channel. Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yeah, go on. Down it, mate. Do you want one, mate?
Yeah, I love it.
Go on then. I can't eat, mate. So, I'm on a diet, guys. What's going to say? I'm distracted by the brownies now. Emir Hughes doesn't want one of them. All right. But he's been playing really, really well. And last night he put himself about well. And he came out and said it was really testing conditions. The pitch was unplayable at times. I don't know why it wasn't stopped earlier to allow for the Forkers to come on and sort it out. But they've done a forking good job, I'll tell you that. They got the game back on.
That pitch, honestly, I've run on cross-country fields better than that. Than that pitch. It was utterly disgraceful. Yes, they're missing a stand, but there's.
The thing is, the weather was coming over the stadium and coming down. It wasn't coming through the gap, which is interesting. It's open to the elements. The pitch was still in a decent shape, I'd argue, compared to some in this league, which we'll get onto in a little while. But we'll leave it there for Oxford last night. Good point in my opinion, and I think we'll move on from that one.
Still unbeaten.
Still unbeaten.
2020.
Yeah, in 2020. So yeah, we'll take that. Blues duo Brett McGavin and Aaron Drinnan are on loan at Ayr United on trial with Ayr United. Sorry, with a view to joining the Scottish Championship side on loan. Now, I think this comes from Paul Lambert's links with Scotland, because obviously Corey and Darvin's up in Scotland as well, making to get a loan move to one of the Dundee sides. Apparently it's United, but I don't know. As long as he's playing football. Now, it's important for these I would say are the absolute fringe players. They're youngsters that get a chance now and again, but aren't going to get any chances in the league. I'd argue they're at a lower standard to the likes of El Mazzuni and Dober at this moment in time. I think those 2 players may have to go out on loan to get some time, although they may get some bench action this season. But it's good for our players to get out on loan, isn't it?
Yeah, to give them the experience. That's what they need.
Yeah.
Look at another one that's gone on loan, Harry Wright. He needs experience. We've got Adam Presbeck. He's getting experience in the under-23s, but another goalkeeper getting a lot of experience. It'll come in handy. If Holy gets injured, but hopefully Norris will go back to Wolves. But
a lot of people are saying that, mate. But I tell you what, played really solid last night, and only good things about him. And I think
you know what I say about the goalkeepers.
I think that argument's been put to bed. I really do, until the next blunder. But fingers crossed that isn't going to happen anymore. Go on.
Fingers crossed, as long as whoever we play in goal doesn't do anything stupid. And, unfortunately, it's Will Norris that's going to get the main bait of that, because he is the one that you look at. And the only thing I could really think of that wholly scared us is the Burton first game of the season. But Will Norris has just done a few things that just make people just get on people's nerves.
Infuriate people,
because apparently I heard he pulled off some incredible save last night, and he's clearly a good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is, a good game last night, but I think because he's made them, everyone just worries whenever he's got the ball at feet or it's being passed back to him that he's just gonna.
He's got that error in.
It's just people haven't got the confidence in him that they do with Holy, and also people want Holy to play because he is our player, and it's going to be very hard for Norris to win over the fans when he's not our player, when we have got our player just sitting on the bench not doing a lot, really.
Yeah, you're right. Go on.
I think it was down to the first few games he played in the cup in the year. what's it called, EFL Trophy or whatever it's called. I think it's down to there because he made some very silly mistakes. It was all down to that. Whereas we were used to Holy in the league, playing absolutely outstanding. But it's like we just don't have the confidence in Norris as we do with Holy. I mean, Holy has stepped up every time he has played. I mean, look at Wickham, that penalty save. That was unbelievable. Oh yeah, exactly. He didn't even have a goalkeeper coach last season at Gillingham, did he?
No, you're right. Right. And you say someone, obviously not many people know, but Will Norris has only really played League Two football in his career. He's played, I think he played one Championship game, one Premiership game before he came to Ipswich on loan.
He got in Cambridge's Team of the Decade, I believe.
Yeah.
But we all kind of slate Norris, but and obviously I've said many times on the channel I prefer Holy to start, but if Norris keeps putting in solid performances, then he's got to make an error, or Holy's got to come in and then earn his place again, because Norris is doing it right at the moment, to be fair to him. So as long as whoever plays doesn't do anything stupid, then and makes saves they should, clears comes, punches, catches, kicks the ball, clears the ball as they should, then as long as they do that, then do their job.
And we don't have a problem, do we?
No, not really.
You're absolutely right. So let's move on to the next one. Elsewhere, Ipswich women have had their 4th round cup tie moved to Huddersfield's 24,500 seated capacity stadium, John Smith Stadium. John Smith Stadium. After the pint, obviously. St John Smiths. Don't know, mate. A huge occasion for the girls as they look to progress from the 4th round for the first time in their history. The tie will be played on the 26th of January, Sunday, that is, at 1 p.m. If you can get up there, I would go and support them, because it's going to be a massive tie. And, first women's tie to ever be played at Huddersfield, I'm being told. So, that's a big occasion in my eyes. And if we can get up there, I'll get up there. I'll be up there and support the girls. That'd be a good one. They have got, as far as I'm aware, there's a supporters coach going up there. But if you like your driving or whatever, I want to take yourself up there, then get up there. So it's not going to cost you much. £5 for an adult ticket, I think it is. But in terms of news, boys, really, I think we've summarised Ipswich Town there for this week. What we've got to look ahead to now is possibly a game that's not going to go ahead, Tranmere. And apart from Martin Waghorn being the new official spokesperson for the Ipswich Town fans, I think we should. Yeah, well, that's what I thought.
He wants to get to the game or something.
Martin Waghorn has obviously got his eyes on Ipswich Town fixtures and not Derby County's fixtures, seeing as Rooney's just come in. Yeah, well.
Why would you want to support Derby anyway?
Say that again.
Why would you want to support Derby anyway?
Well, I'll let you guys answer that one. Let's start with the news that Tranmere Vice Chairman Nicola Palios says she expects Town's game against Rovers on Saturday to go ahead despite the current state of Prenton Park's pitch. Now, boys, I may have been around a bit longer than both of you guys, but I've not seen a pitch that bad for a long time. I'm talking the last 7-8 years, pitches have come on leaps and bounds. How the pitch was deemed even worthy of a game against Watford in the FA Cup yesterday night, was just unfathomable. It's been unplayable for 6 or 7 weeks. This pitch is the worst in the country by far in League One and up. It just needs to be replaced.
It's probably worse than some in League Two.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's probably worse than some in League Two. But
I can tell you the reason why she wants that game to go ahead.
Well, all right, keep that. Hold on to that. We need to fulfil our fixtures, right? It's an obligation as a club. My argument is that why are Tranmere being given such a, helping hand by the league at this moment in time? Why haven't the league stepped in prior to these matches to say, look, the pitch isn't good enough, you're going to have to do something drastic ASAP? Because from what I heard, that the actual infrastructure of the pitch has not been changed for 30 years. It's the same pitch they had in the 80s. Would you believe that? It's just embarrassing. So, although they sow the seeds every season, every club does that, they sow the new grass, however they do it. It's actually the infrastructure underneath the pitch is what controls the pitch. Now, I, for one, I would be absolutely livid if this game was off on Saturday, purely because we haven't got time to move it around. We'll be playing every single weekend and every Tuesday night until the end of the season at this rate if games keep getting postponed. And obviously, Tranmere is still in the cup at this moment in time. They'll have to move their fixtures around. Firstly, what's your point of view about pitches at this level of football? And secondly, what are your thoughts going into this one on Saturday?
I think any professional level of football, you need to make sure there's a playable pitch, because people are going to travel up and down the country to go and watch their team play. And yeah, you get the case of, it costs the club money to, get a coach up and book the hotel. But in terms of football money, that's nothing. To book a hotel for some people for a night and to get a coach up and down, that's not football money.
Well, it's going to cost me around £100 to get up there on Saturday.
It's the fans that you got to think about, because most fans don't have the same money as them players, the owners that pay for all of that. So it's an expensive thing to follow football.
Yeah.
And when you've got professional teams, and now, granted, Tranmere were League 2 last season, but even in League 2 you've got to expect them to make sure there's a playable pitch, and to not have it changed since the 80s, that just sounds like it's just a lack of investment and a lack of maintenance towards the club. It's a professional football club that people are following. I don't know, it's just stupid that they haven't even looked at rebuilding the pitch, just looking underneath it, sorting their turf out for so many years.
I think I'd agree to an extent, but I think that it's a common misconception that a rapid rise from non-league can cause issues like this. We expect this kind of level at League One, but 3 seasons ago, this club was in the non-league, weren't it?
Yeah, they were, but I think they should have known, really. They've stepped up another league. They should have known they were gonna need to sort their pitch out.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. They know they need to sort their pitch out. Why aren't they doing it? I don't get it, because they're going to be calling off half their games off after this, aren't
in
they?
my opinion, I saw a picture, I think it was Blackpool, they played 2 or 3 weeks ago at home, and the wings were unplayable then, and I say this in the simplest of terms, you could actually see underneath the pitch. That's how much it had worn away.
Let me put it on this. As a club last season, we had to deal with the issues of relegation, losing money, possibly losing players that are good enough for the Championship to go and play in the Championship, going to different states. There were loads of implications that relegation brought to this club. So they're a team that's just got promoted. Brilliant. The fans will be on top as well. The club's really, getting motor in. They went non-leagues up into League One. It's really good for them. Why has there been why don't they deal with the issues of moving up into League One? Why have we got to deal with the issues going down when they're not obliged to make sure at the start of their season that their pitch is good enough to maintain a season of football?
Well, I'd argue there that this club has a bigger infrastructure than Tranmere, but from another side of things, they've got a contract with Liverpool that says that their under-23s, their Premier League games can be played on their ground, their women can play on their ground, reserves can play on that ground. In my opinion, they've probably taken their pitch to its absolute maximum now, and it's going to pay. Now, would the league fine them for not fulfilling fixtures? Because I'm sure that's something that's on their minds.
I'm going to say that's going to be up there on their thoughts, isn't it? They need, as I said before, they need to sort it out. That's, as you said, that's the same pitch since the 80s. Yeah. They know they need to sort it out, but they just won't, which is really annoying.
Yeah.
Because their games are going to get called off during the winter, January, February. They're going to be missing on about 8 games probably at this rate.
And how do you fill those gaps?
Well, yeah, exactly. You're going to
extend the season for one team, can you?
I'm going to say you're going to be playing. If they did extend it, they're going to be playing about 2 months after the season's finished.
You're right there. You've got to say that they are trying their best to get this game on, and they believe it's going to be on this Saturday.
Yeah.
But I would say it's going to take an absolute miracle to make that pitch worthy of a game of football this Saturday. Go on, you were going to say something, weren't you?
The only reason they want that game to go ahead is because they want to see James Nord walk in the wrong changing room. That's the only reason.
I doubt we'll do it. Some dub this the James Norwood derby anyway, don't they? So interesting. The last time we played them, that Norwood was do you think he missed deliberately? We'll go on to that anyway. I think that he's obviously got a soft spot for Tranmere. 2 promotions, 2 Wembley visits for them in succession, 2 wins, and he was the heart of their promotion campaigns. No doubt about that at all. But Town go into this one unbeaten in 3. Actually, I should have said 3 in 2020. 5 points from the last 3. Could have been more, especially Wickham. But we're currently sitting third, 2 points off top spot. Go on, don't interrupt me, mate. Tranmere currently sit 21st in the relegation zone, 2 points from safety with no win in 4 in the league. Last win came against Wimbledon just before Christmas. Like I said, some still dub this the James Norwood derby. What are we expecting, firstly, boys, from this one?
A win.
On Saturday?
Yeah.
A win.
A win?
Yeah. We need a win.
We've got to win. To beat them 4. How can we go from beating them 4-1 at home to not beating them at all? We have to. They're a team that have only just come up. We're a team that just come down. We should easily be able to beat them.
All right, look, maybe we're underestimating them as a team.
Yeah.
They've played on that pitch. We haven't. All right, we've not played on any pitches as bad as this. They're probably ready for this more than anyone. Although they've not been winning games, it doesn't mean they can't. And obviously, before this run of form that we're on now, or you'd say it's a run of form, we hadn't won in 13 games. We were the whipping boys. Go on.
I'd still, even if we were still in that run, I would still go to a team like Tranmere and expect to win and be disappointed if we didn't win.
Yeah.
I just think that regardless of the pitch, regardless of the conditions, whatever is thrown at us on Saturday, I think our team is good enough to win that game. They should be good enough to beat a team that's just come up from League 2 and lost their key striker to us.
Yeah.
That's what I've got to say.
You're right, and I'm glad you brought that up. So since Norwood left the Birkenhead side in the summer, they've struggled to replace their out-and-out goal scorer. A number of consistent performers have kept them in with a chance of staying in League 1. Jennings, Ferrier, Payne, Banks, Hepburn, Murphy, the ones that pop to mind.
Jennings was the one who played up front with Norwood last season, wasn't he?
Yes, he was, Connor Jennings, yeah. And to be honest, they all do enough to warrant being, that out-and-out player that they rely on, but they've not got a spokesperson in their side. Someone who shouts every game, the one who's doing all the work as such. Keeps getting booked for dissent, yeah, you're right there. In my eyes, Norwood's the vocal point on our side, but in no way, shape or form is he the absolute soul of our team. I wouldn't say that. But in a Tranmere side, he'd be absolutely unbelievable in League 1, I believe. But for me, this one, for Town, this is a real opportunity to get valuable points on the board. No room for complacency, a chance for us to make up some goal difference, a chance for us to capitalise on the chance to continue our form and be consistent. Surely that's the most important thing for us going forward.
Yeah, 100%. We need these points. We need to catch up on the top 2. I mean, I know it's only 2 points, but we haven't got that game in hand anymore. So we need to capitalise on it. I mean, Wickham, in my opinion, are not even going to reach the playoffs at this stage. So I don't think we're going to need to worry about them.
No.
But Rotherham are going to pull away. Peterborough are going to come back up, and I hate to say it, but Sunderland are coming up as well. And they gave Wickham a good thrashing on Saturday, didn't they?
Yeah. Do we expect changes going into this one at the weekend?
Maybe 1 or 2, but I think that overlap at centre back. If obviously the pitch allows for us to play football, obviously we've got to be mindful that the conditions might hinder us a bit. And obviously, we're able to do that at Port Road because we do have a very good standard of pitch for this level. Maybe a couple of changes, but maybe if Danassian's okay, bring him in for Edwards because he does struggle. He's good going forward, but he isn't a defender.
I think, to be honest, Edwards got booked last night. If I'm right in thinking, unless it got reset, he could be banned for this one.
I think he's got one.
Has he got one more?
He's on 9. He's got 1 until.
I tell you what.
He's the most booked.
There's a few things certain in life, right? death taxes, and Norwood and Edwards getting a yellow card virtually every game. It just descent, and Edwards is a terrible challenge. Like every single game, terrible challenge. Like he's on the wrong side of the pitch for a start, and he just absolutely hammers him, and always gets a yellow card, don't he?
Yeah, but you know, that is what it is. He's not a wing back; he is a winger.
Yeah.
He is arguably being played in a slightly uncomfortable position for him. You know, obviously we've found a system that is working.
Yeah.
And you know, we've shown that on our day we can absolutely tear teams apart with it, with that 4-1 win against Accrington.
Yeah.
Maybe he's the obvious player you might swap out for that, Danassian immediately, and then Vincent Young when he's back. I think that system will suit him down to a T.
Yeah.
So you know, maybe he'd be the obvious change because Danassian wasn't on the bench for Oxford, but was for Accrington, I think. So he's obviously kind of back about in the foray a little bit.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there, but I wouldn't want to see loads of changes, and obviously we haven't changed much for a couple, 2-3 games now.
No.
But we'll see what happens. We're still not. I don't think anyone's comfortable enough to really predict what's going to happen with the lineup.
Yeah. Well, we were obviously missing Jackson last night at Oxford, for whatever reason. We'll probably find out that in the near future, approaching this weekend's game. Hopefully he's alright, because I think it's been a key performer for us this season, and as well as Norwood it is a vocal point in the side, but when they're together I think they're a good strike partnership. But I want to leave it on this question tonight, boys. We may have dipped in form recently, but doesn't every team? Could our earlier bad run of form be beneficial in the run-in? I see a lot of teams dropping off now, Wickham especially, Peterborough, just dropping like stones.
Just as we get going again.
And you kind of see those teams that are going to be there and thereabouts. And I think I said it at the start of the season, how can a team like Rotherham consistently get promotion? But they know what to do in this division.
Yeah.
They are going to be a front runner.
I think it'll be us and Rotherham.
And I do think Oxford are still in with a chance. Their form's has dipped, because I think they were unbeaten in, I think it was 8 or 9, and then the last 2 or 3 games have really struggled and got dicked at home by Rotherham, didn't they? Absolutely 4-1, weren't it?
3 or 4-1.
Yeah, 4-1 at the weekend. They're obviously going to be someone who we're going to struggle against. I think we've got to go up to Rotherham on a Tuesday night. I'm not looking forward to that. But I mean, if we can get a draw there, I'll be happy. But we need to start beating teams, that aren't up there, because we seem to be struggling to beat those ones around us. Would you agree?
Yeah, I do. I mean, we lost Sunderland. I mean, that was
we drew.
Drew, sorry. Yeah.
We won, drew, and lost that game.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, we did win theoretically, but Chambers messed it up for us yet again. But no. But yeah, we can't seem to beat teams around us. Yeah. I mean, we lost 2-1 to Bristol Rovers, 2-2 at Blackpool, 2-2 at Peterborough. I mean, we just can't seem to win. But we're not losing. Yeah, I get that, but we need to start winning. Like, just give teams a fright. Like, give them a challenge.
Half of those games were at Portman Road as well.
Yeah.
We've got to go to those places.
That was 2-0 against Rotherham, wasn't it?
Yeah, lost 2-0.
I think a big thing though, to show that we have got a side that can come out of a run and start firing again, was the fact that we were able to go 13 games not winning and then just I know Accrington are down there, in a relegation battle, but the fact we were able to come out of that run and then just completely transform and absolutely smack them silly 4-1, I think that shows that we have got a team that is capable of hitting a bad run and then coming out of that and really coming out firing again. And Oxford, obviously, maybe different conditions, the result would have been different. We can harp on about conditions as much as we like. End of the day, we got a 0-0, we got a point. Okay, we have to take that and go with it.
Yeah.
So we're not losing games left, right, and centre to the teams around us. It would be nice if we could beat them, yes, and we all want to beat them, and we need to beat them really to show we are the best team in this league.
Yeah.
But if we can just not lose to the top 3, 4, 5 teams in the league, then you've got to fancy us really for the autos. If we could just keep not losing to them teams and beating the teams below us.
Yeah, definitely. I would 100% agree with that. Right, boys, I think we've come to the end of the show. I want to thank you both for coming tonight. I'm now going to go home to bed because I've had 4 hours sleep and Oxford has absolutely killed me. But please check out the Matchday vlog because that would just make it worth it. It was a good one. Actually, it's one of my proudest vlogs, so I'll get on there and have a look at that. But thanks for watching tonight. It's been a pleasure to sit here with you boys once again. Obviously, Tranmere on Saturday, we'll see whether that one will go ahead. If not, I'll be there anyway, so I better get my sleep in. But, keep the faith. We're starting to play well at the moment. Get back into our rhythm. We've looked decent at Wickham. We've looked really decent at home against Accrington. And we've looked really decent last night in terrible, weather and conditions. I believe, albeit we've got a terrible pitch to play on Saturday, that we could go and get a win at Tranmere. So keep watching, make sure you hit that subscribe button in the right hand corner, and until next time, come on you lose.